my name is Dan Ariely. I'm the James B. Duke Professor of Psychology and Behavioral Economics at Duke University, and I do research on human irrationality. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about FOMO, the fear of missing out. And the fear of missing out is basically a function of regret. So let's think a little bit about what regret is all about. Regret is about the fact that when we evaluate our happiness, we don't just evaluate where we are, we also evaluate where we could have been. And if we think that we're here and we could have been somewhere better, this contrast makes us unhappy. And if we think we're here and we could have been somewhere worse, that contrast makes us happy in comparison. So for example, think about being late for a flight. Imagine in one case you're late by 2 minutes, in another case you're late by 2 hours. In which one of those would you be more miserable? Very simple. Everybody says by 2 minutes. Why? Because you're this close. So what? What happened is that in a 2 minutes case, because you're so close, you can imagine many ways in which you would have gotten there. You say, if the lights change a little faster, if the people in line in front of me moved a bit faster, if the printer for the tickets worked a little bit better. So you create this other alternative world in which you would have made it. It didn't happen, it's in your mind, but you create it in your mind and you contrast it to where you are, which you missed the flight, and that contrast drives you crazy. Now, what happens if you're late by 2 hours? You don't really imagine the alternative reality, so you're just evaluating where you are. Similarly, a few years ago, they took pictures of people who won medals in the Olympics. And they evaluate how big their smiles were. And what would you expect? Gold, silver, bronze. No. Gold, bronze, silver. Why? Why is the silver person the least happy? Imagine that for the last 4 years you woke up extra early every morning. And every morning you exercise, you did whatever your sports require. And 90 seconds ago you got the second place. What is the thought that you just can't avoid? If only on that Wednesday 2 months ago and then Thursday 2 weeks ago and so on. And if you got the bronze medal, what do you say to yourself? At least I'm here, look at everybody else. And actually, if you look at every or many aspects of your life, you will find cases in which our happiness is not driven by where we are. It's driven by creating a counterfactual, an alternative reality in our mind that didn't happen, and that contrast drives our happiness. That's the first thing about regret. But regret actually runs deeper because it also has anticipated regret. So here is something that happened to me a few years ago. I went on Thanksgiving, I went to do the American thing, which is to get a new flat screen television. I go, I pick my television, and when I pay for it, the salesperson looks at me and says, wouldn't it be sad if a year and 2 months from now, after the warranty expired, a line of the TV broke and it just looked just like that, and he pointed to another TV that had some broken components, that kind of there was a line that didn't show up, and you didn't buy the extended warranty. So what he was trying to tell me, to let me think about, is how would I think in the future if something broke, and to realize that at that point in time I would hit myself over the head and say, why did I do it? Now, this is not regret because nothing actually happened. It's anticipated regret. And anticipated regret is what gets us to buy insurance for appliances and car insurance when we rent a car and all kinds of other things. We worry that at some point we would feel regret. We don't want to feel regret, so we do something now to protect ourselves against future regret. And the fear of missing out is all about that. It's all about the fact that because of online technologies like Facebook, we can find out at any moment that we missed a wonderful thing. And we are worried that we're going to miss it, and we'll find out, right? If there was a fantastic party and you never found out about it, not a big deal. But if you know you'll find out about it, you know you would feel regret. Why didn't I check Facebook just half an hour earlier? Why didn't I check it yesterday? So what happened is kind of like insurance. We keep on checking, so we don't feel that regret. Now, how to get out of it? I don't know. Regret is a huge force in human behavior. This contrast is something that we have to do. Maybe we need something like saying we can only check Facebook once a day between 8 and 8:25 p.m. and that's it. And if it came in another time, I could have never done that. Maybe if we had some specific rules for how we can behave, it would help. But the reality is, I don't think that will happen. And I think this idea of fear of missing out and realizing that the world around us has all this information and we'll find out what we've missed, it's going to be just more and more prominent in our lives. We have to figure out something, but I'm not sure what. Okay, I hope you learned something and that you don't regret spending the time on this. Bye-bye.